And we begin tonight with what we are all feeling, the heat. If you thought today was toasty, well, we are just getting started.
Let's check in first with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Matt, you told us it would still be hot at 11 o'clock, and it sure is.
It really is, Laurel. You know, I said be about 80 degrees at 11 o'clock. We're at 81 right now, so I'll take that. It's just warm out there. And with this warm nighttime temperature, it means it's going to take a little bit longer to cool your house down if you do not have AC or a good way to cooling off. So you have to be patient. Just make sure it's cooler outside before you let that air into your home. Look at this. So we're running about 3-4 degrees warmer compared to the same time last night, although curiously Hillsborough is a little bit cooler. It's just a warm night out there, and we are close to 100 degrees today. Most of the state is warmer than it was at this time last night. And while we're at 81, it is in the mid-70s down the valley. Once you get away from the city and the urban heat island effect, it cools off a little bit, but still 75, 76. It's hot for this time of the night anywhere in Western Oregon. Okay, here's what we're looking at. Record high for tomorrow is 100. That was set in 1988. I think we're going to break that. The record low temperature for tomorrow is 67. I think we're going to stay 68 or warmer overnight. So probably set records on both ends of the day, in the morning and in the afternoon. Our hottest overnight low was back last year. We hit 75. That was it during that incredible heat wave during the heat dome. So we're under the excessive heat warning. That continues until 9 p.m. on Thursday night. So we have 3 more days of this before temperatures begin to ease off. But I think tomorrow will be the hottest day. Very warm nights all week long in the upper 60s, even some low 70s potentially, and staying above 90 until Saturday. That's when things will begin to cool off for us in a more meaningful way. So I think the worst of it will be tomorrow. Then we'll see some slight improvement each day, guys.
Something to look forward to. Thank you, Matt. We have a tragic update tonight from Hag Lake in Washington County. The search for a man who went underwater this afternoon and did not resurface is now considered a recovery mission. He is presumed drowned. The Washington County Sheriff's Office said the man had been swimming with family this afternoon. The lake was packed with people trying to cool off.
When coming to the lake, understanding your capabilities is extremely important. We have life jackets at all the boat ramps that are free for you to utilize during the day if you need them. Know your capabilities, understand that there are going to be very hot temperatures and you could get exhausted a little easier.
The swimmer has not yet been publicly identified. The search for his body will continue tomorrow morning.
Well, this extreme heat has people trying to find all sorts of ways to cool down, and that includes going in search for an air conditioner and likely wishing they hadn't put that off. We sent Catherine Cook on a shopping trip and found there's still plenty of portable relief to be had if you know where to look.
A lot of people are running around looking for ACs, and they're winding up here, Ankeny Hardware in Southeast Portland. The reason is a lot of the big box stores are sending them here. In a season when supply chain issues are still a really big problem, this place planned ahead.
You can't fix anything with a rain check, so it doesn't do any good to say we don't have them.
It's why Norm Chusett starts every summer with about 500 air conditioners at his store, Ankeny Hardware. This season, he tacked on 200 more.
This year, we were told they're going to be hard to get because where are they made? They're made in Wuhan in China. That's where the majority of the manufacturing is. A lot of that stuff is still shut down. They told us, let's get them, we're going to have to get them in by December.
And so here they've sat until now.
So we've sold today between 40 and 50 air conditioners already.
Temperatures are expected to hover around 100 degrees all week. Some customers are stocking up.
3 today, 3.
Norm says another guy bought 12 AC units after his apartment building lost central air.
They were amazed because we've been traveling all over town. We can't find any. So we had them.
We called around too. Lowe's had about 80 AC units spread across half a dozen stores. Most Home Depots were out. However, the Clackamas store told us they just got 400 units in on Monday. But in just 2 hours, they'd sold nearly all of them.
I've been wanting an air conditioner, and I was kind of telling my roommates, like, we should get one.
Molly Moyer went to Home Depot first, where she also struck out. But then she says customer service sent her here.
And I'm really thankful that the person at Home Depot had a contact, because I know it can be really frustrating when they're just like, I don't know, other places should have them, maybe Target. Target, like, was fully sold out.
Air conditioners are an investment that not everyone can afford. Over the weekend, state health officials teamed up with community groups to deliver 500 AC units to those in need. They hope to get 3,000 ACs by the end of summer. After last year's deadly heat wave, lawmakers passed a bill that put $5 million toward that investment.
There's box fans, there's pedestal fans.
Back at Ankeny Hardware,
Say it's one of these things that if you're going to want one, get it.
they expect to be out of ACs by Saturday. As for those who already have one, lucky you. Norm says, please change your air filter.
Because if your furnace filter is clogged up and you have air conditioning, you can actually ruin your air conditioner. It will actually freeze like a big ice cube. And then it takes a couple days for it to thaw.
In Southeast Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Now to a plea from many tenants at a Newburgh apartment complex who say they've been given eviction notices for having air conditioning units in their windows. That's because the housing authority says these units pose a fire hazard. As Blair Best explains, it's forcing tenants to choose between living with no AC or losing their apartment.
90 degrees with no AC.
I could get physically sick because you're so hot.
In this 100-degree weather, it's horrible.
These women live in Haworth Terrace, a low-rent public housing community run by the Yamhill County Housing Authority. Many just received these eviction notices for having AC units in their windows.
Just all of a sudden, in the middle of July, they decide to evict mostly elderly and disabled people for their air conditioners, and I just don't think it's reasonable.
Mary McGrew has MS and has lived here for 5 years. In May, she received a notice that her window AC unit is a fire hazard and must be removed or else she'll be evicted.
It's really unfortunate how we're intimidated.
She hired a lawyer who negotiated an extension, allowing her to keep the unit until the end of this month.
But my eviction still stands. If I don't have it out by July 31st, I will be evicted on the 1st.
I got an eviction notice saying that I either had to take it out by the 21st or they were going to serve me with eviction papers.
And Nikki Sherman has lived here for 15 years and has always had AC in her window. The property management says floor units are allowed, which costs hundreds of dollars.
Oh my gosh, it would take me like almost 6 months to save up because I live paycheck to paycheck with the stuff that I already have.
I start to get headaches around 80 degrees and bloody noses, and I'm afraid of stroke or a seizure.
Now, according to Oregon law, landlords are not legally required to provide AC for their tenants. The executive director of Yamhill County Housing Authority tells KGW in an email, "We have been attempting to work with our tenants to find solutions to their cooling needs while at the same time complying with the federal housing and urban development's building standards." She goes on to say Haworth Terrace was recently notified by their governing agency that the apartments with window AC units are in violation of HUD standards, saying they're a fire hazard and must be removed. In May, Sherry Casto took her window unit out in fear of eviction. She now takes multiple cold showers a day and wears wet towels around her neck.
I don't want to be put in a position where I have to choose, being sick because I can't eat because of the heat, and being in the street.
But I just want to keep my air conditioner. And so do these other people.
In Newburgh, Blair Best, KGW News.
Well, you can understand their frustration, and you may remember Oregon lawmakers passed a law last year to try to prevent landlords from banning window AC units. So why isn't that helping in this case? Our team on the story looked into that and learned the law has many exceptions. You can watch that full report now on the KGW YouTube channel.
As we saw with last summer's heat dome, triple-digit heat can be deadly, especially for the most vulnerable. That is why the nonprofit PDX Saints Love is stationed at Lentz Park all this week. The Lentz neighborhood is considered a heat island, which means it's typically hotter than other parts of the city. Now, PDX Saints Love helps people who are homeless, battling addiction, or those who have mental health issues. The cooling station at the park is going to be open from 11 to 7 every day. They have snacks, cold water, and cooling towels for anyone who needs them.
Everybody's like, why are you doing a cooling station outside? And I just keep reminding people because a lot of people won't go inside for those reasons. They don't want to lose their things. And so while we're stationed here, we'll have our team show up as the day goes on, and they'll be taking water and ice out to the camps for people who won't even come this far.
The Portland Bureau of Emergency Management also donated 2 fans that'll help keep that tent area cool. And while we were covering that story in Lentz Park, a person who is being helped by PDX Saints Love attacked one of our photographers. Police have now identified the man seen here jumping over the picnic table as Joshua Sears. A colleague witnessed Sears punch our photographer in the face multiple times. Police arrested him nearby and say he was trying to then attack another person. We've since learned this isn't the first time Sears has been accused of randomly targeting people with violence. Court records show he was arrested twice in March for assault. One case was dropped. The second is active. In that case, Sears is accused of hitting a 70-year-old man in the back of the head with a large stick. Our photographer, by the way, is at home tonight. He had several cuts. He had to get stitches and is understandably shaken up, as are all of us, and are concerned for him too. We want to thank the volunteers with PDX Saints Love for helping our photographer before EMTs arrived.